Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and Sweden have humiliated Tunisia in the first match of their World Cup 2026. It ended up being a 5-1 thrashing by the Swedes, and it was a really hard game to watch if you're a Tunisia fan. So let's I get into it. I'm not that surprised, but I'm still surprised if you can go by that. I went for a 2-0 win for Sweden. I thought it was going to be quite a one-sided game. If I'm being very honest with you, I expected Sweden to control majority of the game, and I thought they were, going to go ahead and win it comfortably. But I thought Tunisia were going to show a lot more fight in this game, but it did not come from Tunisia. Never in that game, apart from the first 5 to 10 minutes, I would say they never really battled in that game, and this is like really not a good look on Tunisia, and you really don't expect that from Tunisia. I understand, I understand that they were the underdogs in the group and in this game as well. But as I said, everybody expected Tunisia to show some sort of fight, but it never really came. And Sweden were like miles better than them in that game from the get-go. As I said, the first 5 to 10 minutes were competitive, but as the game settled down, Tunisia were on the back foot. They were just continuously defending for their lives, and Sweden continuously came out and to trying to attack them, and they were creating chances, and they were getting closer and closer, and you just knew it was a moment of about a time that before Sweden were going to score, and they ended up scoring. Ayari scores the first goal, and that basically opened the floodgates. The more Tunisia tried to go for the equalizer, the more chances Sweden started creating. They could have easily had like about 10 goals in this game. They scored 5, but as I say, they could have attained the amount of chances that they created. I think defensively Tunisia were really poor. They were not really marking their players. The midfield, I think that was the main concern for Tunisia, how easy it was for Sweden to get past their midfield, to get easily get the balls through Isaac or Gyökeres. And I think the big question before the game was whether Isaac is going to start or whether Gyökeres is going to start. So Graham Potter starts both of them. So then the question became, will both of them be able to play alongside each other and help each other? And if I'm being very honest, they help each other. I think there was a good wavelength between them. Both of them made different type of moments. Both of them helped each other a lot. Assist from Gyökeres to Isaac, then assist from Isaac to Gyökeres. So it took worked quite well for Sweden and for Graham Potter and Isaac and Gyökeres as well. Both the main strikers are getting goals on the first game. It is going to help their confidence going into the next two group games. That is going to be really essential. And defensively as well, they were really good as Sweden. If I'm being very honest with you, it's not like they were not really tested. I think they are going to be disappointed that they conceded the one goal that they considered, because they would have really liked to keep it at 5-0 to keep a clean sheet and make it a 5-star performance. I still think it's a 5-star performance, but a 5-0 is a much more better performance than a 5-1 performance. But overall, I think defensively also they were very solid. They did not let Tunisia come that much closer to their 6-yard box, and whenever they came, they dealt with them quite easily. As I said, I think the midfield of Sweden completely outplayed the Tunisian midfield, and they never really let them come into the game, and they never really let them produce any kind of a threat for their forwards. And I think that's where the game was won. I think that the Tunisian manager really missed a beat here with his midfield and the way that they played. I think it was quite cowardly. I'm going to use the word. Because I expect it's, I continue to say, I understand you're an underdog, but you expect some sort of fight. But Tunisia never showed that a fight in the entirety of that game. Sweden, great win for them. Now they with the Netherlands and Japan game ended in a draw. There's a big chance. There's a chance for Sweden to top their group, something that nobody would have expected them to do. And everybody sort of expected them to somehow qualify for the next round, but nobody would have thought that they are going to end up, there might be a chance where they end up, topping the group. And I think now with both of them drawing, there's a big chance that Sweden, they need one big win, either defeat Japan or the Dutch, and you can end up topping the group. And that is going to be a big deal for them. On the other hand, Tunisia, and even if they don't top the group, even if they lose both of their games, the margin with which they have won against Tunisia, that is going to be really helpful for Sweden. A 5-1 win, it's a 4-goal difference, so that is going to come in handy with that third place teams going forward. Tunisia, on the other hand, I think it is a disaster start to the World Cup. And the way again I'm going to say, losing a game is one thing. Losing in this way with such a score, and especially when you know again that the third team place can go forward into the World Cup, that's really really bad. I think even after third one, after Isaac scores, I think they should have just shut down completely, just park the bus and don't try to go ahead and try to win the game. And they did that. I think there was no game management here. They showed their inexperience. I don't really want to criticize Tunisia that much. They have been a regular part of a World Cup of football, but then I think, and but they did not really perform that way, and they did not show that experience. You expect Tunisia to know that we have already lost the game. Let's accept it. It was like 60-minute marks when Jokic scored the third goal. You have 30 minutes to go. You make sure you don't concede any more goals. So you may have a chance, to somehow finish if you finish in that third place position. So you may have a chance to qualify for the next game. But instead of doing that, they try to go forward and try to get something out of that game. I think that was a wrong move there. As I say, the manager got completely wrong everything in that game. Whether it was the first half, whether it was the second half, whether it was his formation and whatnot, whether it was his game management. I think it was a poor performance from the manager. Even his substitutions did not really work out as well for him. Yeah, and again in the game management as aspect as well, in that second half he really did not was able to help his team. And I think that's a big question mark on him. Now they need some sort of a miracle to somehow make sure that they qualify for the next round. I don't really think it's going to happen. I think they have lost in such a bad way and in a humiliating way as well, that it's looking really really hard for them to qualify. They need to win both of their next games, which I really do. I love football. I of course anything can happen in the game of football, but I just don't see them defeating either Japan or the Dutch in the next two games, especially with the way that they have played. It was really really poor, and I think they need to, maybe if even if they cannot defeat their opponents in the next two games, they need to come back, and they need to come back stronger. They need to give a good account of themselves. Even if they don't win the game, they need to play with some pride, and they need to show that there was a reason that they qualified for the World Cup. And they need to show some sort of a grit and determination, which was lacking in this game. It was so easy for Sweden. I'm not taking anything away from Sweden. I think they were spectacular, they were brilliant, they were fantastic, but I think Tunisia were extremely poor, and they need to step up in the next two games. Otherwise it could turn out to be a very humiliating performance and a humiliating World Cup for Tunisia. Overall, as I said, a massive win for Sweden, and a big chance for them to qualify for the next round, and a devastating performance for Tunisia. And with this game, match day 4 of the FIFA World Cup 2026 has ended very four very interesting games. We got to see 7-1 for Germany. I went for a 3-0 win, so I got the team right. I went for a 2-all draw between Netherlands and Japan. It ended up being a 2-all draw, so a perfect prediction for me. I went for a 1-all draw between in the third game. I cannot remember the game right now, but I went for a 2-0 win in this game, and this game being a 5-1 win for Sweden. So almost all my predictions were correct today, so I'm really happy in that regard. We're gonna review we're gonna see the prediction table and whatnot in tomorrow's video when I make the preview for match day 5. But in this video, that is from me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, Sweden's performance, Tunisia's performance, and do you think Sweden have a chance to top their group and qualify in the next round? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers before the end of the group stages. 20 subscribers remaining, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.